Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Shodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Anachadi Jamuna Tira Anachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jashanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Manachadi Jamuna Tira Manachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Bhad Punaman Sukadi Prajukacharya Ashtodhara Satri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Can I have some water? Okay. Krishna. So far down? Yeah. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 7. Karpanya dosho pahatasya bhavaha Pritchami tam dharma samudha cheta Yajtreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me Shishasteham shadimam tvam prapannam Karpanya dosho pahatasya bhava Pritchami tam dharma samurta cheta Yajtreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me Shishasteham shadimam tam prapannam. Someone else?
Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava Vichami tvam dharma samudha chetaha Shreyasyanishchitam bruhitan me Shasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam.
Anyone else?
Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava Vikshami tvam dharma samudha chetaha Shreyasyanishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam.
Anyone else?
Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava Vichami tvam dharma samudha chetaha Yajtreyasyanishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam.
Ladies?
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः
Karpanyadoshopatas svabha
गच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता
यच्छ्रेयं स्यानिश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
Yasyanischitam bruhi tanme
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
Okay. And now it's time for an auspicious cell phone check. आपका शुभ cell phone check कीजिए. Karpanya of miserliness. Dosha by the weakness. Upahata being afflicted. Sabhavaha characteristics. Pritchami I'm asking. Tam unto you. Dharma religion. Samudha bewildered. Cheta in heart. Yat what? Shreyaha all good. Syat may be. Nishchitam confidently. Bruhi tell. Tat that. May unto me. Shishya disciple. Te your. Aham I am. Shati just instruct. Mam me. Tvam unto you. Prapannam surrendered. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there's perplexity. It therefore behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master, to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not, therefore, remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Om Gyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrashatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Pradijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Modi Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Karpanya dosho bhaktasya bhava Prichchami tam dharma samuttajeta Yat streyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. The material world is a source of perplexity for everyone. This is the actual fact. We put on a brave show of being on top of things, but everyone is perplexed. Everyone is fearful. Everyone is in anxiety. What to do, what to do. There's troubles from other living entities, troubles from the body and mind, troubles from nature. Now we have the vicious virus, and everyone is at risk. And individually, we all have our perplexities. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? For Arjuna, that perplexity is vivid. He's standing at the edge of the battlefield, or in the midst of the battlefield, facing his own relatives, with the duty to fight. Well, these things come, perplexities. And we don't know exactly what to do. Sometimes we think we know, sometimes we don't even think we know, but we're perplexed. The complete system of material nature is a source of perplexity for everyone. The rich man is in perplexity, the poor man is in perplexity. The wise man, the fool, Everyone. The example is alluded to, that the world is like a forest fire. Now we're facing that also, right? The forest fires or whatever kind of fires are going on. We didn't want this, and still it comes. What to do? And then there are so many fires in our life. So the Shastra says that to solve these perplexities of life, one must approach the bona fide spiritual master. This is the only solution. Our material efforts won't work to approach an investment counselor, to approach a psychologist, to approach a this or that, a business advisor, banker. They may help us put out one fire, but then the next fire will come. So the intelligent person wants to put an end to all miseries, to get free from all miseries. First of all, the intelligent person wants to understand why these miseries are coming. When Srila Sanatana Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Keami, Keneyamai, Jadatapatrai. Why are these threefold miseries always giving me trouble? Why? Why couldn't it be that we're always getting unexpected happiness again and again and again? Instead, we don't have like a pandemic of ecstasy. In New York Times, another wave of absolute felicity is sweeping the nation. One misery, another misery, another misery. Who is the man in material perplexities? It's he who does not understand the problems of life. The man in the dark, which is most. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, the perplexed man is described as follows. Yova etad aksharam gargya vididvasmal lokat prayati sakripanaha. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human, and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs, without understanding the science of self-realization. Srila Prabhupada is explaining the word karpanya. Karpanya comes from kripana. Kripana, karpanya. Kripana means miser. A miser is someone who has assets but doesn't know how to use them. Just holds on to them, but doesn't know how to use them profitably. It's a miser. This human form of life is a most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, One who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. The human life is meant for spiritual realization. In the other forms of life, we eat, we sleep, we have sex, we defend our turf. But the human life means Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the opportunity for spiritual. If we don't do that, then we're misers. If it's only family life, family life, family life, the dogs have family life. The squirrels have family life. The mosquitoes have family life. What's the big, that's what I'm doing? Just family life? Every bug, every dog is doing that. So we get the human form of life, and we use it for that, for the same thing that we could do in a, it's like you've got a super ultra top level car, and you're using it to go to the supermarket, like a racing car, the kind they use for the Indy whatever number it is, and you use that to drive to the supermarket and pick up your groceries. It's just not the idea. Or you have like a supercomputer and you use it for data entry. So we get the human form of life, and then we use it for eating and sleeping and sex and security. That means not seriously using our assets. Prabhavasthavadapoda jatuya bandhi najigyasata atmatattvam. In Bhagavatam. As long as we don't inquire about the Atma Tattva, about our spiritual life, our life is a failure. Prabhupada. On the other hand, there's the Brahmana, or he who's intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Ya etadaksharam gargi viditvasmal lokat prayati subrahmanaha. Thanks. The Kripanas, or miserly persons, waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc., in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members on the basis of skin disease. Skin disease, because my skin is related to your skin, so we have a relationship. I'm not this body, but I'm thinking in terms of the skin. And that's where my love goes, that's where my care goes, that's where my thoughts go, that's where my concerns go, that's where my effort goes, that's where my devotion goes, that's where everything goes to my family. That's called Kripana. The Kripana thinks that he's able to protect his family members from death. I'll protect you. I'll make sure you get vaccinated. Or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. What is that? Deha pacha kalatradi shatmasanyesha satsvapi. Teshu pramata nidhanam. Pashanapi. The fool thinks, I'm protected. I've got my family. I've got my home. I'm safe. I've got my insurance policy. I've got connections. Death doesn't give a damn about your connections. All these soldiers that are there to protect me, literal soldiers, our Army, our Navy, our Air Force, our Marines, they're all fallible. Means they'll die. Our family members everyone, and those people are going to save me. Or I'll save them. I'm one of those fallible soldiers, but I'm thinking, I can save this person, I can protect that person. Can't even protect ourselves. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals who also take care of children. This is our everything, my family. My family. It's all about my family. A person is considered very great if he's dedicated. Now it's a wonderful thing. Someone's dedicated to his family. Because there's so many who don't care about their family. They've got, another girl, another guy, another this, another that. They're not sure what sex they are. They don't know. They're just bewildered. So if someone's attached to his family, that's like a big deal. But in the Vedic culture, someone who's only attached to his family is a fool. Like a fool who's only attached to his car and he doesn't have anything beyond car consciousness. He's attached to his computer and he doesn't have anything beyond computer consciousness. There has to be something ultimate. What is the purpose of my life? Just to code or to drive or to fly or attached to my yacht, attached to my husband or wife? Is that it? Just family attachment? No, that's there. That's not the real business of life. It's like wearing a shirt. So I'm wearing a shirt. So what are you doing today? I'm wearing a shirt. What else are you doing? Oh, I'm wearing pants. Yeah, all right, but what do you do with your life? I wear a shirt, I wear pants. There has to be more to life. There has to be a higher purpose. Second cell phone check, please. If you haven't checked your cell phone, please do, and see that it's in silent mode. Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexity. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still, on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He has duties to perform, but his family attachment is overshadowing his duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. Nishchitam. Nishchitam means, you all know what nishchitam means. Definitely. Don't tell me, yeah, it could be, maybe one way of looking at it is, some people say, Nishchitam. Tell me definitely. I can't solve this. On the one hand, you start looking at one possibility, but then you say on the other hand, you have competing concerns. So Arjuna admits, I can't solve this. My mind is spinning. That also we saw in the end of the first chapter. Oh, you please tell me. I give up. Surrender means give up. When an army a general no longer has a chance of winning, he gives up. I surrender. Prabandha, I surrender. Of course, surrender in that context means defeat, but here it means victory. If we surrender to an enemy, then that's not very, very wonderful. But if we surrender to a friend, then the friend can help us if he's the qualified. And Krishna is the most qualified friend. Suridam Sarvabhutana. So, Prapannam, I surrendered. I'm surrendered to you. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciple are serious. And now, Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. The talk was going on. Krishna was saying, in my opinion, this. Arjuna was saying his side of the story. Well, that's how friends talk. Well, I think that, but when it's the spiritual master and disciple, then it's different. I surrender. It doesn't matter what opinion I have. What do you say? I accept whatever you tell me. Otherwise, what's the use of being a disciple? Gurudev, what do you think? Well, I think. The spiritual master tells us. Then we say, yes, but I think. We're surrendered. Not that I keep my independence. I approach the spiritual master, but I'm not surrendered. What's the use? Tadviti pranipatena. One has to approach the spiritual master in a mood of surrender. Panipat. Otherwise it's useless. I accept you as my spiritual master because I have everything else, but I don't have a guru. For my profile to be complete, I need a bona fide guru, so please accept me. That won't help us. That won't help us. If I'm still proud, if I still think I can solve the problems, I just need a guru to complete the picture, then what's the use? And what's the use of being the guru of such a disciple? Then it's just another cheating business. Arjuna is not just looking for, I could have Krishna as my guru. Everybody will say, Arjuna has Krishna as his guru. It's not for prestige. It's to solve his insoluble problem. Unsolvable. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of the Bhagavad Gita And Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself. And yet, foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There's no difference between Krishna's within and without. And one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's the original guru. Arjuna is the original disciple. If one wants to understand Bhagavad Gita, one has to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna and understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one should accept the spiritual master who's a devotee of Krishna. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam heturuttama. Dharma samudha cheta. Samudha means completely bewildered. My consciousness is samudha. I'm completely perplexed. So pritchami, I inquire. That's shreyasya. Shreya means ultimate welfare. I'm not looking for a quick fix to my problems. Please tell me what's ultimately beneficial for me. Tell me definitely. All right, are there some questions or some comments? Yes. Really?
So, someone may say that, okay, I accept that this world is a perplexity or it's a place of suffering, but I also understand that by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, I can be relieved of all my problems and attain perfection. The Maha Mantra is not different than Krishna. He's not bound by anything, so I'll just chant Hare Krishna.
Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishpralamata. I understand that the world is a place of perplexity, so all I have to do is chant Hare Krishna because the mantra is not different from Krishna. That's all true. But to get the actual benefit of chanting the mantra, one should chant under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. After all, the chanting means, please engage me. Please accept me as engage me in your service. But don't send your representative. I only surrender to you. Doesn't work that way. It's a kind of fraud. Or sincere, I want to chant, I want to solve the problems of life, but I don't want to surrender. The chanting should be done in the mood of surrender. Even if one chants in some off-track fashion, one will still get some benefit, but not the same. Tad vigyanartam tam gurumeva abhigaschet. Sa gurumeva abhigaschet. We want to get the actual benefit of realization, then we have to approach the bona fide guru. There'll be benefit from chanting, undoubtedly, in any case. But it's not a small thing. It's not just, I feel so much better. There was a time in Back to Godhead when they were running little testimonials. I feel so much better since I've started chanting. I sleep more soundly at night since I've started chanting. People say that I'm happier since I've started chanting, so that's, and Srila Prabhupada accepted, but he said, no, they have to come to the process. It's not just that you chant. There's a whole process here. And if we don't follow the process, then it will come to nama parada. Chanting with, inevitable or unintended offenses. We won't really come to the point that, please engage me in your service, please engage me. We won't connect the way we're meant to connect. So we may feel better, we may, whatever superficial benefit we're looking for, we may get something. But the Hare Krishna mantra is so pure, it's even, I may get freed from some sinful reactions. I may get some punya karma. But that's not the result. There was a meeting in the house of Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle, his uncles, and there was some discussion about the glories of the holy name. And someone was glorifying that the holy name is so great that chanting Hare Krishna even once is equal to performing 10,000 Ashwamedha yajnas. You know, we like to perform little yajnas in the temple for getting punya karma, blessing our new car or whatever it is, or blessing a marriage or seeking blessings for our family member, whatever. But Ashwamedha yajna, you get so much pious activities, you can become Indra, you can be, really powerful thing. So 10,000 Ashwamedha yajnas, the Brahman glorified, chanting the holy name is equal to 10,000 Ashwamedha yajnas. So Haridas Thakur happened to be there, and he said, this is nama parada. To compare the chanting of the holy name to pious activities is an offense to the holy name. Shubha kriya. To think that this is, a shubha kriya, a pious activity. So you may get that, you chant on your own and you feel, yes, I'm performing a pious activity, but that's not the real benefit. The real benefit is to prem pumartha guhan, to attain love of Krishna. That we won't get so easily. Something else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'm still new and still trying to understand, and I have very limited knowledge. Trying to read Bhagavad Gita. I understand you said that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. And also Krishna is everywhere. Basically the entire universe is in Krishna. So what is the importance of deities in that case?
Krishna is everywhere, and we understand that the holy name is also identical with Krishna. Then what's the need or benefit of the deity? The need is that Krishna is everywhere, but we don't see Krishna. Although Krishna is everywhere, where's Krishna? I'm only seeing walls and fluorescent lights and people and paper plates. And where's Krishna? And so I'm attracted to other things. I'm attracted to the television, I'm attracted to beautiful women, I'm attracted to whatever it is that I'm attracted to, the beauty of nature. Krishna is everywhere. Why am I not attracted to? I don't see Krishna. My eyes want to see Krishna, but I don't see Krishna. Why? Because my vision is material. Those who are in love with Krishna, those who've genuinely achieved love for Krishna, see Krishna everywhere. Prem Shurita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilochanena. They always see Krishna. But we, in our practice stage, we don't see Krishna. So, but here's the opportunity that even with my material eyes, now I can see Krishna. I can only see paint or metal or wood, material things. So Krishna agrees, all right, I'll come in the form paint, metal, wood, you can see me. Not only can you see me, you can serve me. You can offer me food, you can offer me flowers, Patram Pushpam Palam, Krishna says, if you offer me, I accept. So now it becomes tangible. The yogis, Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogin. The yogis can see within their hearts the personality of Godhead. So that's what they focus on. But we can't. So Krishna makes it easy for us, yes. I'm everywhere, but here you can see me. Here you can see me. So actually all we need is the chanting. But to help us chant and to help us progress, the deity worship is helpful. Does that? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Something else? Ramchandra Prabhu.
Maharaj Chanakya Pandit said that one should not give one any advice until asked upon.
One should not give any advice
until they are asked upon.
Until they're asked.
And here also, only once Krishna, Arjuna says that I'm a disciple, accept me as a disciple now, not a friend anymore, and then advise me. It just makes me wonder that if that question or if that surrender wouldn't have come, would Krishna have gone further? If Arjuna had not taken that position and said, now I'm a surrendered soul, please guide me, would Krishna would have gone further? And
presumably, and if he had gone further, what would have been the use? If he goes further, Arjuna is not agreeing to accept Krishna's opinion. Krishna's already told him, you should fight. Arjuna's not agreeing. Katam Bhishma Maham. Someone would ask Srila Prabhupada some question, and Prabhupada would say, if I tell you, will you believe me? The person would, and Prabhupada said, then what's the use of answering? Is that okay? Yes.
Well, it's more like a technical question, it's not really. So in the word-for-word translation, Srila Prabhupada translates dharma as religion, whereas in the translation it translates as beauty. So usually when Srila Prabhupada explains dharma, he says dharma is not just religion, but in the word-for-word translation, Srila Prabhupada translates as. So you can clarify that.
That in the word-for-word meaning, Srila Prabhupada gives dharma as religion. And in the translation, it's duty. And usually Prabhupada gives dharma as duty. So it's a technical question, what's going on here? We find this often in Srila Prabhupada's books, that he'll translate, he'll give the word one meaning for the word-for-word section, another meaning in the translation, a third and maybe a fourth and a fifth meaning in the purport. Because that's the nature of words. They don't just have, one limited denotation or one limited meaning. Words mean a lot. Words have a whole range of meaning. So sometimes dharma is simply religion, sometimes it's prescribed duty, sometimes it's occupation. In different contexts it can mean different things, because it's a big word. It's a big word. It has so much depth to it. You could write, a book about what is one word. What is dharma? What does dharma mean? So, Prabhupada's the usual translation you see is religion. Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, Jain dharma. Religion. But Srila Prabhupada is generally not satisfied with religion. In the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he explains that service is the actual religion of the living being. I may say that I'm Christian, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm this and that, but that's a temporary designation. Today I'm a Hindu, tomorrow I may become a Christian, the next day I may become a Buddhist. But my actual religion, taking dharma comes from a root which means to sustain. So what is the sustained or sustaining quality of the living being? Not that he's Hindu or good, that's temporary. But he's a servant. That we can't get away from, or we don't want to get away from, but it's there. Like water, it's going to be wet no matter what. Put it in this bottle, you put it in that bottle, put it in a thermos, put it in a river, it's going to be water. It's going to be wet. Chili is going to be hot. Sugar is going to be sweet. So the permanent quality, that's another way that Srila Prabhupada explains dharma. I'm bewildered about my permanent occupation, my nature. What am I? Kayami. Who am I? What am I? Why am I in perplexity? These are the questions. So Srila Prabhupada often gives different meanings within the same sets of verses and purports and word-for-word meanings. And we take it as almost like an extra. You get those movies and they come with like a little extra something behind the scenes, or going deeper, little features that they add to the thing. So it's like an extra benefit that Srila Prabhupada doesn't just go religion, 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 or duty, 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 duty. He opens it up, he unpacks it, he explains it, gives you different angles of vision on it. So rather than view it as a contradiction, we view it as an extra source of richness. Okay? Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Very nice class. Question of perplexity. There is, as a preacher, we come across the situations that people in perplexed or anxiety situation, they look for immediate relief. And as a preacher, if we suggest them that chant Krishna's name and surrender to Krishna, and there will be some relief. So now there's two questions. One is, giving them this suggestion looks like a material suggestion, but is that right? One question. And second is that the person who's receiving it kind of thinks that there's not going to be enough, like this is not going to be bringing any immediate relief. So how that can be reconciled, or rather classify them?
As a teacher, people have some question, they want immediate relief. And then we tell them chant Hare Krishna, but either they don't think that will do it, or
the one part is that we as a preacher, when giving the suggestion, that this will help you. So, is it a material suggestion?
Is it a material suggestion? Someone comes and says, "I'm in so much trouble. My wife is going to leave me, and I'm starting to drink again, and all of this." And we say, "Well, why don't you chant Hare Krishna?" So are we just giving them like a material suggestion? That's the part one of the question, huh? And then part two of the question.
Part two was like the person is in the distress or some situation,
and he thinks this isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
So one side, are we giving them a material solution? And the second side is he thinks that this isn't going to work anyway. Yes. There are different answers, of course. People want a solution, and then you give them the solution, they go, "Oh, that's too easy." Therefore, Shadi Mam Tam Prapanyam, person who's actually surrendered, you can ask them, "If I tell you, will you do it?" Then there are various, what would you say, persuasive strategies. Rather than say, "Okay, here's what you do," you can say, "Here's what I found. I also was perplexed. I also was totally confused. Here's my story. Then here's what I found, and it worked for me." So you're not directing him, "You should chant, you must do this," but you're giving him your experience. Or you can give him a Shastric example, that you think you're perplexed. Let me tell you about Arjuna. And here's what he did. Of course, Arjuna didn't chant Hare Krishna, but he surrendered to Krishna. You can give the example of a Jamil, or any, example. That someone took the chanting of Hare Krishna, that solved the problem. It depends on the person has faith in Shastra. You say this is the conclusion of the Shastras, and you prove it to him. How many people have faith in Shastra? But if he does, this is the conclusion of Shastra. If he has faith in you, you say, "Here's what I found." Or you tell him a story. Here's Arjuna, here's the Jamil, here's so many examples. Jagai Madai. Or you don't tell him anything. Haridas Thakur didn't tell the prostitute anything. He just said, "Sit down and I have to finish my chanting." And by hearing his chanting, she took up chanting. So you have to see what will be effective. But certainly it's, even if you think, it is a problem. It's not a material solution. It's a spiritual solution for a material problem. It's not a material solution. Your material solutions don't work. Or they work and then there's the next problem. So this is our spiritual solution. Nothing offensive about saying this will solve your material problems. But it will do more. It's not just solving your material problems, that's automatically included. But this is one of the people who come, Arta, a person who's in distress. When he's in distress, he turns to Krishna. Like Gajendra, he was in distress, he turned to Krishna. So he's accepted. Sukritina. He's a fortunate person. He's in distress. He could have just, gone for a bottle of Jack Daniels to solve his problems. Or he could have looked on the internet for some self-help thing. Instead, he's approaching you. He's approaching Krishna, so he's considered Sukriti. So then, although he approaches with that purpose, later he realizes, oh, this is much more. Arti jigyasu. Dhruva Maharaj, it's artarti, he wanted some material opulence. But in the end, that opulence was nothing. Is that okay? Yes. Microphone, kidder. Oh, so you lose out to the microphone. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. So, once we accept a guru and we take initiation, then how can we please him, and how
can you reason?
Please him.
Please him.
What can we do to please him? And,
follow his instructions.
Okay.
When we accept a spiritual master, how can we please him? Follow his instructions. The teacher, you follow the teacher's instructions, the teacher becomes pleased. Because if you follow the instructions, you'll get the result. The teacher becomes happy. The teacher says, I want you to go back and study this, study that. You go and do it, and then the teacher sees the test results and says, oh, very nice.
And how can we understand that, with whatever we are doing, our guru is pleased or not?
How can you understand whether you're doing your guru's...
No, whether the guru is pleased with
whether his
the
guru's...
sadhana.
I asked Srila Prabhupada that one time. He said, everyone will know. One thing faces the index of mind, everyone will see how you're making progress. And Guru's representative is there, the temple leaders and so on, senior devotees, they'll see you're doing nicely. Yes, now the microphone is yours.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question, not a question, just a clarification. We're saying until Arjuna inquired or accepted Krishna as a guru and surrendered to him, then only Krishna reveals what he needs to do. And the other side, we are distributing the books, we are reaching out to people, even people are not inquiring about it, we still try to distribute the book, try to explain them, and they should come to it. How we should look at these two different situations, scenarios?
Yes. On the one side, Krishna is not going to explain until Arjuna surrenders. On the other side, we're giving books to everyone and giving them these instructions. So we're giving them an opportunity. We're giving them the opportunity. Here's like a taste. And if they think, yes, this makes sense, this is interesting, then they may come forward to the next stage. Yes. Especially if they read the book with some regard. If they think this is a great good book, I have to give it attention. They'll get some understanding. They won't understand everything, but they can make progress. And we see it practically. How is our movement growing all over the world, especially by our distribution of literature. Is that okay?
Someone has a question?
Yes. Where? What?
So, thank you so much, Maharaj. I have one question. So, generally
generally, like, Bhagavad Gita say, like, everybody is perplexed naturally. It's a material world, we all get perplexed. But what happens with that perplexity is we generally tend to find solution with friends.
I couldn't follow. Tell me again.
Like, naturally, we all are perplexed in the material world.
Yes.
But during that
I think you can hold it a little farther away. It's distorting that microphone.
During that perplexity we are in, we tend to ask help or inquire from our friends. Oh, this happened, that happened. Whatever issue we have, we go to our friends rather than a teacher.
And therefore we get friendly advice.
Yeah. So because we can get a support or pacify, I'm right, that mentality.
We're generally right. If you're my friend, you'll agree with me.
So how? Because sometimes we see my teacher might be partial because he loved this devotee, certain devotee, and make a decision.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's because you're wearing a mask. Maybe it's because you're speaking fast. But I can't follow what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, Maharaj. So we might think that even especially in a community, we might have some issue that person is also in between community. Maybe the spiritual teacher we have in a community might be partial to that devotee, with whom I have an issue with. So I don't feel confidence that the teacher will make proper decision.
So you have to go to the person who you trust.
But the only trust
if you think that I'm good, if you have an issue and you think I'm going to be partial, don't ask me. If you think I'm biased and you're not going to trust what I say, don't waste my time or your time. Go to someone in whom you have confidence. Right? It's not just, because I'm wearing a badge that says senior devotee, ask me a question. If you think that, I don't trust this person really, find someone you trust. I won't be offended. Find someone that you have confidence in and go to him and say, what should I do?
So how to elevate that consciousness, finding solution from friends, then a real proper guide.
How to elevate that consciousness of
going to the friends and in inquiring the situation.
Nothing wrong with inquiring from a friend.
And elevating to really get guidance.
Elevated to
getting guidance from a proper teachers.
How to elevate it? When you realize that my friends can't bring me to the conclusion. It's up to you to have, no one's, it's not a hard thing. If your friends are sufficient, stick with that. But if you want to understand the ultimate meaning of life, you need more than friendship. Friendship is good. Friendship will help us. But for some things we need more than friendship. We need superior guidance. Suppose you want to get married. Official-like. You can't just go to a friend. Say, I want to get married. Could you marry us up? You need a person with authority. You need someone in a higher position, a person who has authority. He can get me married. I can't just go to one of my friends and say, could you do this for me? Well, he's the government representative. He's authorized by the government to do this. So if his signature is on the paper, then it's accepted at once by everyone because the government is standing behind him. Notary public, if he signs a paper, then the whole government is behind him. If I sign a paper, it doesn't have the same force. So if you want friendly advice, go to your friends. But if you want to connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the disciplic succession, then Tad-Vigyanartham, if you really want to get the full benefit of this knowledge, realize it, then Guru Meva Abhigashchet, and one must approach a guru. And it's also because, what is our relationship with Krishna? We're meant to surrender to Krishna. So how do we surrender to Krishna? As our friend was saying before, Krishna's everywhere. So I start bowing down before the water cooler, before the trees. One has to find the representative of Krishna. Just, you want to pay your taxes. Of course, no one wants to pay taxes, but you want to post a letter, you have to put it in the authorized box. So if we want to surrender to Krishna, we have to surrender to the authorized representative of Krishna. So then our offering goes to Krishna, and blessings are coming down from Krishna through that way. Someone say, why not just go anywhere? No, this is the authorized. Why not just put your letter in any box? You have to put it in the government authorized box. Is that okay? Okay. Well, it looks like the kids are all served out. And that's usually a signal that it's time for our next program. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.